want to do what's best for Finn, but at the same time I need to look after myself. Hey guys, I'm back, and in today's video it is all things breastfeeding because today is a very significant day. For me in my personal journey, my goal was 6 months and Finn is 9.5 months old, so we have exceeded what my initial goal was. But now that he is on the verge of cutting his first teeth and I'm back to full-time work, it is time for me personally to start weaning Finn. Every time I start this process of weaning, I get a massive amount of guilt around weaning him, especially this time round. And I think that's because I have successfully fed him for 9 months, and because it is so established, there's a part of me that wonders why I'm giving it up. Currently, I have already dropped 1 feed a day, and that's his 11 o'clock feed, and we have supplemented that with formula because that is while I am at work and I didn't want to be expressing. I have done that for 2 previous children, and in my career it's really hard to express and still get a break because we have to do lunchtime duties. And so I made the personal choice this time around not to do any expressing at all, especially because he was 8 months old. Mick and I have been talking and we feel like now is the time, and he's very supportive in me dropping that afternoon feed. That means I'll only be feeding him the 7 a.m. feed, the 7 p.m. feed, and if he wakes up during the night, giving him that feed. There's a part of me that's worried if this is actually going to work because I don't know how my breasts are going to react in regards to dropping a feed and cutting it back to just 2, potentially 3 feeds in a 24-hour cycle, and whether or not my supply will just dry up. Now that I'm choosing to wean Finn off, especially now that he's getting teeth, I feel so isolated and alone in the process, and that is the reason why I'm documenting it. For anyone who needs to hear this, I hope this is helpful for you, but it's also for me because God willing, will have 1 more round of breastfeeding with another child, and I want to remind myself that it's fine. It's fine to want to give up breastfeeding. And for me personally, I find breastfeeding a really difficult experience because of the overload of my senses, and I feel like 9.5 months is a really good slog, and even at this rate it will probably take me until Finn is 10 months to wean him off gently and for my body to be able to get used to the process of no longer feeding him. So even then, 10 months of breastfeeding I think is really good. Something that I'm very thankful has just happened is that I have an appointment with Amira at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So originally I was going to have to pick Finn up and take him with us for that appointment, but now that I am getting Finn to have a bottle feed at 3, it means Amira and I can go by ourselves, which is good. And that's really helped me because it feels like today especially I don't really have a choice in doing the bottle feed. I could take him with me, but it would make it very difficult for this afternoon. We've just gotten home and it's probably around 5:30, so it's a little bit later than what I was hoping or planning. I'm not able to wait until 7 o'clock to give Finn his feed. I have been aching since about 2:30, which is when I used to feed him. So I'm gonna give him a feed now and then maybe a top up at 7 before bed. But that is day 1 of weaning a feed out. It's 8:30 at the moment and I've just given Finn another feed. I felt like he didn't really have the best of feeds, like a really full feed at that 5:30, 6 o'clock mark, and I tried to give him another feed before bed at 7, but he would not take it. He had a really rough day at childcare today and he only did about 1 hour 30 all day, and I didn't get to him until late, as you just saw. So yeah, I've given him another feed. I feel a lot more relieved from it. However, that does make it now his 4th feed in a 24-hour cycle. So the next feed, if he does wake up, I'm gonna do a bottle feed just because I don't want my body thinking that it needs to keep producing milk when I am trying to wean him. It's currently 5:30 on day 2 of me weaning Finn, and I feel like today's definitely going better. I haven't had any discomfort at all or urges to feed Finn, which is really nice because yesterday, being the first day was really quite tough, both mentally and physically. But yeah, it's 5:30 now and I am going to get Finn up from his afternoon sleep. Now that he is at nursery and we're still working towards his nursery routine, he does do a big sleep. So he's just waking up now. I'm gonna give him a nurse. He'll eat his dinner and then I might give him a top up before bed.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in long conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold.
I feel like the process is going really well, and every time I drop a feed and I feel like it's sustainable and this new routine is working well, I get really anxious at the thought of Finn cutting his first teeth and what breastfeeding would look like with him having teeth, because he is a biter, and we went through, I think it was last week, every feed ended with him biting me and it really hurt. So there's a part of me that thinks if I can sustain doing just morning and nighttime feeds, then I'm happy to keep it until he's 1. But at the same time, I think I'm gonna play it by ear, because I'm gonna give myself permission that it's okay to stop feeding him.
But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors and never.
It's currently Friday and this little man is sick. You wouldn't believe it because he loves the camera so much. But we have had a rough 2 nights and I feel like he started really getting sick on Monday when I weaned 1 extra feed off him. So there's a part of me that has a bit of mum guilt right now, thinking that the reason why he's sick is because I'm not feeding him as much as I used to, and then because I'm not nursing him as much, I am now questioning my milk supply and whether this little man is getting enough. So even though it started off with being the absolutely right week to stop nursing that 3 p.m. feed, I feel really overwhelmed and I feel like maybe it wasn't such a good idea. So my body has definitely adjusted to not nursing during the day and only nursing at nighttime, but this little man is having a rough time because he's sick from being nursery in winter time, and he is also teething all of his teeth because he's 9.5 months and has no teeth. That's a little update on how the whole weaning process is going so far, and I have a feeling that he will be fully weaned soon. What does your shirt say? It says no sleep. Because are we getting any sleep? No. A week has now passed since I first dropped Finn's daytime feeds, and what a week it has been. The little man got sick halfway through last week, and a part of me thought that the reason why he got sick was because he was no longer getting the antibodies from breast milk. He is teething something hard. He has such sore gums. You can see the white outlines of his teeth just waiting to cut through, and none of them have cut through, and he's 9.5 months. And then to top it all off, Finn has entered his 7th Wonder Leap, which means that I have a very clingy, sore, grumpy, overtired bub, and I really wish that I could nurse him to comfort him and give him the stuff that he needs, but at the same time, I know that this is the right thing to do for both him, I, and the family. I am absolutely to my point, my threshold when it comes to nursing. I am to the point where I'm getting overwhelmed both auditory and physically most of the time, which is really hard to admit, because breastfeeding people make out to be such a normal, natural thing and everybody seems to enjoy it. But for me personally, it really is a struggle. So the fact that I've worked so hard to get my milk supply the way that it has been this time makes the decision to stop feeding him even more difficult. The thing is, Mick and I really feel like we've hit the trifecta when it comes to selecting Finn's formula. First of all, it's actually got really good reviews, especially for bubs who are transitioning from breast milk to formula. Second is he actually enjoys drinking it. We hardly have any problems with him taking a bottle. And finally, it's actually budget friendly and isn't costing us the world to get tins of formula. The reason why I'm sharing the journey with you, the highs and lows and everything in between, is because I feel like breastfeeding is such a difficult journey, especially for myself. I feel like there's such a big pressure to even breastfeed to begin with, that when you make the mental decision to stop breastfeeding, I also feel judged. Even on this weekend, I was trying to give Finn a bottle in the cafe, and I was really worried what people were thinking of me because I was bottle feeding. And like, that's ridiculous, because fed is best. And I just, it's a mental mind game, and I feel like I'm getting torn inside out because I want to do what's best for Finn, but at the same time I need to look after myself. I want to share how I'm going, because if you're watching this wondering if your feelings are valid, it's absolutely a resounding yes. This is the hardest thing that I have ever had to try and figure out what to do, especially having such a good milk supply. I feel like to stop feeding him is the worst thing I could possibly do, which is ridiculous. I think for me personally, my magic number is going to be 10 months. So in 2 weeks time, I'm going to cease feeding altogether. At the moment, he is successfully doing his breakfast feed and dinner feed and then a feed throughout the night. But even last night, I fed him at, I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and he just wasn't happy. And it's a mixture of everything. He's got a cough, snotty nose, his teeth are hurting. So I don't know if he's getting enough milk or if it's other objects. And so I feel like, especially with teeth just sitting there to cut through, now is absolutely the time for me to stop my journey of nursing with him and to open up this new season where we have 2 more months pretty much until he's 1, which is incredible. This is the longest time that I've ever breastfed, and that I think needs to be celebrated and focused on. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it has helped you in your journey if you are trying to figure things out and wanting to know how other people are going with it. I feel like a week definitely helps in adjusting your supply. After a week, I no longer get letdowns at 11 or 3, which is really good. And I feel like my supply is sufficient enough for the nighttime. I have adjusted when I take my multivitamins and my fenugreek though. So rather than taking it at breakfast, lunch and dinner, I take it at dinner, then just before bed, and then one at breakfast. So I hope that's helped. If you have any questions or want to know anything more about my journey, please comment them down below. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does support my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell to become part of our YouTube family. Because this parenting gig, it doesn't come with a rulebook. We only have each other. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again, but life is one big riddle.